But yeah, if you guys want me to try and recreate some other games, comment them down below. And if you guys think of some other ways of doing these, whatever I'm doing here, also comment it down below. I like to learn. I like to learn from you guys. If you guys think that there's a more efficient way of doing what I'm doing, please do comment it down below. So, all right. Mm, Now there are multiple ways of trying to move a character around, especially in 3D. You can use character controllers. You can use the translate method. You can use rigid bodies, or you can just change the X value over time. But for now, let's use the rigid body, because I love rigid bodies. And let's just freeze those rotation and freeze the Y position so that our character, yeah, we're not going to make our character jump, because I believe you can't jump in Don't Starve. And also the collider. Now let's fix that later. All right, let's save that. Let's go back into Visual Studio. So we need to reference that. Yeah, we need the movement speed. So private move speed. What else do we need? We need the reference to the animator, and then we need the reference to the rigid body. So that's rigid body RB. Then in our start function, at the start of the scene, we need to get the components. So get component animator. So we will get the animator from our player, and then we need to get our rigid body reference. We need to reference our rigid body. So we have that, and then in the update function, we're going to have the movements. I mean, let's do fix update, because for yeah. So fix update is in the way I understand it, is best used in physics-based movements or anything that uses physics, because it's the constant or fixed interval in between frames. Okay, unlike update, it's actually different. I mean, it differs from time to time. So if you're running different things, um, it might slow down your computer and it might affect the update function. But in fix update, it's trying to look at the constant intervals, the fixed intervals. So yeah, let's do this, and then we need to get the button. Yeah, we need to button down. Yeah, let's just get the button. Then this will be the horizontal one. Get input horizontal. And then what we're gonna have inside is we need also a current speed. Yeah. So movement speed will hold the movement speed of our character, and the current speed will be the one that will be computed along the way, along the instruction. Let's just do that here. Current speed is equal to input that get axis, get the horizontal one. Now this will just see if you're pressing A or D, so that's -1 and +1, to get if you're in the negative X or positive X axis, if you're moving along those two. And then let's multiply that to the move speed, meaning we're going to move at a certain speed along that direction, which is to get axis. And then we're going to multiply that by time, the delta time. Since we're in the fixed update, I don't think we need to add time, the delta time anymore. Now let's just see. Now let's remove that for now. Yeah. Yeah, we need to add time, the delta time, in order to make it look like our character is accelerating. All right, because time, the delta time starts with 0, I believe, and then it's going to increment in real-time seconds. So yeah, if current speed is less than 0, meaning if we're moving, well, let's just keep that there. Let's just try to add force. All right, so let's move our character real quick. So current speed, and then I'll multiply that with direction, transform the right. Now this is the local x-axis of our character. We can also have vector right, but let's just do it this way. And then for our force mode, Oops. Force mode, let's have velocity change. Okay. Because if we use impulse, it's gonna shoot our character to the direction, and if it's add force, it's gonna move it very slow. Yeah, and then let's move it the animation now. That's this is movement, right? And what do we name it? What do we name it? It's speed, right? So it's speed, and then the current value will be our movement speed. There you go. So that will actually be this right here. This line here means that we're going to set the value of a certain float named speed in our animator. In our case, is this one, is this parameter here, and then what value to what we're going to change it to what value. We're going to change it to the same value as our movement speed, our move speed variable here. So again, let's just copy everything here and then change this to vertical. So this is along the Z axis. Vertical. Then now we don't need to compute the current speed again. Alright, so yes, we're also going to play the animation, but you know what, we can actually just do that outside. So if current speed is greater than 0, no, if current speed is not equal to 0, just run the animation, so that we don't have to call it every time. Alright, so there you go. Else, if we're not moving, if it's equal to 0, then we'll just make it 0. Alright, and then what I'm thinking actually is, are we going to allow the player to move diagonally? You know what, let's not. So let's make it else. This actually means that you can only move along the x-axis or along the z-axis, not both, meaning you can't move diagonally. So else, if you're not moving, and then we're going to make the velocity equal to 0. Wait, what? Oh yeah. Let's multiply it. Okay, all right. So this means that we're going to reduce the velocity of our rigid body at the rate of 80. At 0.8. So at each frame, it's going to reduce the velocity by 80%, or at the rate of 0.8. What else do we need to do? Yeah, I believe this is fine. You don't have time that delta time, yeah. But you know what? We don't need to because we have it here. But yeah, let's just test this out. Oh, do we have it in declare? Yeah, we do. Okay, can't see. We are not moving, ladies and gentlemen. What do we have here? It's here, player. Let's go into debug mode in order to see. Yeah, we didn't set the movement speed. You know what? Let's serialize this so that we can change it in the editor. Okay. Some people actually just make it public in order for them to see it in the editor, but I think the best practice is if other scripts are not going to what are these? What? I didn't notice that. What the hell is that? We don't have any scripts here. Whatever. Yeah. So if your variables are not going to be accessed by other classes, and I think the best practice is just to make them private. And if you want to see them in the alright, if you guys want to see them in the editor view, just put the inspector into debug mode, and then if you want to edit those fields on the editor, then just serialize it. Because I don't know. I just think that it's a good practice. If you're not going to access those variables via other classes. Did I save it? I did, right? Yeah, I did. Okay, so we didn't move because we didn't set the movement speed. Alright. Yeah. Oh yeah. We're moving along the x-axis, but we're not moving along the z-axis. Why are you Oh yeah. Because it's transformed it right. We need to make it transform it forward in order to move along the z-axis. Alright, we're moving on the x-axis. Alright, so we can't move forward. Reason being is we need to multiply this with the sign. Wait, that doesn't make any sense. Current speed is defined here, so we can't actually tell. Yeah, figures. We also need to know here vertical. We also need to know the sign if we're going towards the positive z-axis or the negative z-axis. So we need that there. All right, and then let's try removing time dot delta time because I'm also not sure. I always add time dot delta time. Oh yeah, that. Okay, saw that coming. All right, next, let's see if the z-axis works now. Yep, so we can move up and we can move towards the camera and we can move to the left and to the right, but it's awfully slow. Yeah, let's increase the speed to 10. I think 10 is too much. Is 10 too much? Nope, it's fine. Yeah, there's a drag. Yeah, but that's fine. Okay, now we can move. If you guys notice, if we're moving to the left, we want the sprite to be facing to the left. Now I was thinking about that when I was making this, because if your current speed is negative in the horizontal one, meaning if it's negative, you're facing in the negative x direction, which is the left, I believe. Yes, it's the left. So what you want to do is I believe Sprite Render has a flip. Yeah, let's get out of debug mode. Yeah, there's a flip. So this will flip the sprite to make it look like we're facing left. So let's do that. Let's just get component sprite renderer. Yeah, I can't spell that flip x. Alright, make that true. Okay, and then else, if we're greater than 0 or equal to 0, let's make it false. Make us look to the right. Now this should make us, if I press A, let's go into the negative x-axis. Yeah, now we're facing there. Alright, now that drag is bothering me. Yeah, let's make this guy stop faster. Now you can change the rate there. Yeah, I think that's fine. Or you can just change its what do you call that, in a rigid body, the drag. You can just increase the drag. I believe that does the same thing. Yeah. So anyways, what else do we need? Is there anything else we need? Yeah, we need to make the camera follow the player. It's like in Don't Starve. Okay. I'm thinking of anything else to add to the player. The attack animation. Crap, I forgot. Alright, so in the attack animation, let's put that in the update. Okay, so when do we attack? That is every time that are we going to allow the player to hold the button? Yeah. Every time the left trigger, what do you mean? The left mouse button. I mean, every time the left mouse button is clicked, we're going to attack. So, are we going to cast array now? Let's just cast array later. For now, let's just play the animation. So that is anim.setBool. So yeah, we're going to set the boolean The boolean name, yeah, you can use ID if you know the order of your properties here, parameters. But for me, it's better to just use the name. Um, make it true, and then if the player's not clicking the left mouse button, let's make it false. All right, let's play this and open up your animator in order for you guys to see animations. So yeah, the idle is looping, and the walk, if we walk, it's also looping. Okay, where we at? Hey, come back. Yeah, I think we need to add the dump. And let's add the drag, I mean. I kept on thinking of damping. Oh, it's not returning. Why is that? Because our speed is still 10. When does that happen? Wait, if it's not 0, we're moving. Right? But it didn't change. It didn't go back to 0. Why? Yeah, every time it's going to have it. Let's just increase the drag. I think 2 works best. Yeah, so that's going to have the velocity. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna cheat here a bit and put that there. Meaning, if you're not pressing any of the buttons, any of the WSD buttons, you're going to stop the animation. Wait, that's weird. Why is it not returning back to 0? Still not working. Because it's still 10. It's just looping. Okay. You know what? That's weird. That should work. Okay. Yeah, what's velocity? Yeah, it's a vector tree. Whoops, wait. Okay, let me think about this. Movement speed. The problem is here. Yeah, let's just pass the velocity here. That magnitude. Yeah. Yep, there you go. Yeah, so what's happening here is that if we're not pressing any buttons, our variable, what did we put earlier? Moving speed, right? Yeah. So if we're not pressing any button, the movement speed is still 10. No matter what we do, movement speed will always be 10, whatever we input in the inspector here. So yeah, that's my error. I'm sorry. But yeah, if we're not pressing, this one's correct. Alright, so if we press the attack button, it should play the attack button. That looks ugly. Ew. Face here should also play the same one. Alright, let me just slow it down a bit. About half. Yeah, to make it look like it's actually punching. But yeah, so it works well if we're idle, if we're walking. Also walking. Alright. You know what? Let's make the player attack if we're not moving. Meaning you need to stop first before you can attack. You can. Forget it. Let's allow the player to attack while walking. Because we need to blend these two, but I'm not going to make a blend tree for this tutorial. Alright, so we can attack now. We can move. We just need the camera to follow us. So uh camera follow script. Let's just hope that whatever we're going to put in here will just be follow to make our name make sense. So again, this is gonna be a for our target. Whoa. Yeah, let's make it we need, come on, transform. That's weird. Intelligence, why are you not working? Intelligence, why are you not working? All right, let's just restart it. That's weird. And it's going to load again. Well, faster this time. Awesome. All right, let's play some Mass Effect. Okay. Why is this? Oh, there you go. All right. Yeah. So start. We need to look for the player. So player will just be we just need to find an object with the tag player. I know I didn't set this up yet, but yeah, it's a transform. Okay, let's set that up right now. Let's tag this guy as our player. And there you go. Okay, so next one, we just need to follow that guy. Pan speed, this is the speed. Yeah, we also need the height. Whoops. There you go. We also need the height and we also need the height and the distance. This is the height from the player and the distance from the player. So you guys will see these later. We do this quickly. We just lerp this. So vector 3 lerp is just slowly moving from moving from one position to another. Then where do we want to go? Yeah, let's just do that here. New positions equal to new vector 3. Then we'll pass on to the x-axis. We just need the player's x-axis box. What the hell is box? And then for the y-axis, that's the height. So we need the player position, the y-axis, and then we're going to add to that the height. And then for our z-axis, we're going to have the player's z-axis minus our distance. Now, why minus? Because if you can see here, so if we go back to the scene view, the camera is in the negative z-axis, right? I mean, if we're going to pan out, we need to move along the negative z-axis, and if you want to zoom in to the player, we need to move to the positive z-axis. So we need to subtract in order to move away from the player. All right, so let's pass on the new position here, and how fast do we want to move? So that will be pan speed times time to delta time. All right. Okay, let's go here and put our, let's just wait for it to compile, and then place that into the main camera. And then for our speed, let's make that 7. For the height, I believe 2 is the best. For the distance is 1.5. I have no idea, these are just arbitrary numbers just that pop up in my head. Yep, and we know that's wrong. For the height, for the distance, we need to move out a bit. You know what, let's put a rotation here. 35 looks fine. And then for the height, I believe that, wait, for the distance, let's move it closer. I believe 2 is great. For the height, 1.5, that's too close to the player. Yeah, let's make this 1.5. Nope, 2. All right, so we have 2, 2. So we have here 35 and we have 2, 2. Now, in order for you guys, if you made a lot of changes there and you don't want to repeat it again when you move out of the play mode, you can just go here while it's playing. Right, so let's go to play, and we just hit our 1 hour mark. So yeah, if you change something here, you just copy it and then you get out of the play mode, and then you paste the values here, paste component values. Right. All right, so next one, Yeah, let's test that. We should be moving now. Yeah, you see that there's a delay, but it's staggering. You can change that here. The fan speed, make that smaller. Yeah. If you want to add another effect there, let's just keep it at 5. If you want to add another effect there, you can make it look at the player, but this will actually make it weird. Alright. Because then the player sprite will be slanted. Yeah, see that? Now what's happening here if I press the camera? Um, when the camera pans around, it will rotate to look at the player. Alright, now that's just, if you want to add that effect, go on right ahead, but I don't want that for our purposes. Alright, now we already have the player script and the basic camera script. Now let's just set up the scene real quick from our images. Now for the ground, let's add a 3D plane. And yeah, bring that back 0. Oh, our player is not. Okay. 0.5. You know what? Let's just put this guy at 0 and just move the plane down. -1, let's do. Money from the morning. It's Witcher, guys. It's Priscilla's song. Alright, now let's just. You know what? Oops. That space there looks fine for our purposes. So let's just do that. Let's just maintain that. Now, if you don't want to accidentally press on the plane, if you just want to press the player, see, I can't press the player. Yeah, and if you don't want to accidentally press on the plane, you just put the plane on whatever layer, and you go up here in the layers here, and just lock that. There you go, it's already locked. Yeah, so that we won't be able to select on the plane anymore. And you know what? Same with the lights and the. Now we need to select the camera. Let's just do that and put these guys in whatever layer right now. Usually I just make a customized layer, for example lights or camera, but yeah, we need to make this quick. Yeah, okay, so let's make our grass prefab, which is an empty object. Make this grass set. Now this is just a set of grass, okay? The grass set. Wait, let's put this to 0, 0, 0. Put the grass there. Put this down a bit so that it's down there. You know what? We need to put our plane up a bit. There, and yep. Oh, wait, no. Alright, and then duplicate this multiple times. Just, just scatter this around. Yeah, have you guys played Wild Hunt? It's awesome. Alright, let's rotate this by 90 degrees. Oops. 180. I mean, sorry. Wait, no, whatever. Yeah, global. Okay. Whoa, what? What? Alright, I think that's fine now. And we have our grass set there. Let's make a prefabs folder just to keep things organized. And drag and drop our grass set there. Let's make another one for our rocks. Create an empty object. Rock set. You don't actually need to do this, but if you want to make your lives easier, you know, to avoid re-importing and importing sprites, just put them in a prefab. Uh, all right. Now for our rock, let's make actually different sizes of it. You know, that's the beauty of making assets. You don't actually need to make everything. You know, you can just make one and just change the size. It's cheating, everyone, but it works. Yeah, so let's make that and then make very, very small one and make a lot of those and just scatter it in our empty game object. Alright, there. And then also save that in our prefabs folder. And there you have it. Now we can design our place. If you also want to make a tree set, you know what? Let's do that. Tree set. I forgot about the trees. Alright, put that in the origin. Alright. Oh, would you look at that? It's in the correct place. You know what? Let's make our player small to make it look like the world is big. Yeah. You know what? Smaller. It's just a matter of perspective, guys. Yeah, that's too much. Alright. So for our tree, let's just make it like these. And yeah, and I think we need to add colliders to these guys. Let's do that now. So let's select all and then add a box collider and also a rigid body because our character is a rigid body and we don't want our character to pass through the trees. And then let's just change. Yeah, let's move the colliders before. Wow, this is difficult to see. Before the, you know what, negative 0.1 5 there, before the sprite itself, so that our character will be over the sprites. Again, we're not using, I call them layer orders, sorting the orders here, render order, because that's a pain. We're just going to use the z-axis in the 3D world. So if you have a script lying around about which I have one actually, which sorts the orders of the sprites on the scene, go ahead and use it. But for me, I won't. Let's not use gravity. And then let's make this thinner so that our characters can pass in between. It's along the x-axis, right? And yeah, that looks about fine. Let's test this out. Wait, I think our player is inside. Okay, there you go. All right, that's what we want. Then you can walk around. Wait, I think the collider of our player is pretty thick. Yeah, it is. Yeah, so let's, whoops. Okay, let's move this to the back of the player. That's positive Z. Where's my collider? There you go. So also 0.1, but make it thinner. Negative 0.3. Wait, 0.3. 5. Okay, and then change this to 5. And then it's also change the x axis about there. 0.5. Exact values. Alright. Now this should work. Alright. Whoops. Yeah, you can see there it's clipping, but it's not in the scene view. This is because of the sorting order, because we're in the same layer. Yeah. But let's fix that using our collider instead of the sorting layers. Again, this is not I'm not saying that this is the only approach of doing this. There are a lot of approaches actually. Just like in math, there's always more than one way to solve a problem. Whatever works, people. All right. For me, this is working. Yeah, this is working for me, so let's do that. But I'm bothered with distance of the camera, but let's do this for now. Copy that component and paste the values, and then for the camera, let's set that up. Height is too high. Why is this? There's an offset, right? You guys see that? The offset? We're not in the center. But anyways, let's do this 1.2. What's our rotation? It's just 35. Is 35 too much? Nah, it's fine. For orthographic views, you know what? Let's test that out. Is orthographic better? You know what? I think what do you guys think? Orthographic or perspective? Yeah, let's move it perspective. It looks like they're cutouts. But yeah, 512, but why are we offset? That's a change in the x-axis, right? If we're offset that way. Let's go back to our script. We're not changing the x-axis. We're just changing the height and... Oh, I'm zoomed in. Oh, come on. Alright, so the distance now is too much. We just wanted 1 maybe? Yeah, let's move closer to the player. To our character, I mean. 0.8 maybe. And for our distance, let's also make it 0.8. Nah, make it farther. Yeah, 1 is enough. Okay, so it's 0.8 and 1. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but I keep on bumping accidentally the pop filter of the microphone. I'm not sure if you guys can hear that. But yeah, let's change the color of... Let's make a ground material. Just add that in the prefab. Usually I add a different folder for materials, but let's just add that there. And pick the color of the ground. That's not the color of the ground, but yeah. And drag and drop that to our plane. Yeah, it's not the color of the ground. Come on, dude. Picker. Oh wait, why are we in the player? It's the shading. Let's just not make it. Yeah, don't receive those. Receive shadow. Don't receive anything. Yeah, that works too. Alright. Now we just need to populate the whole place. Now we need to sort those. Okay. We can sort these sprites. Not the player. No, we don't. No, let's not. Okay. It's not that I hate sorting layers, but I mean sorting orders. It's not that I hate. It's a good thing. It's just that I don't like doing it. Okay. So let's go to the prefabs, add a reset, and just design this whole place. Okay, then for our walls, let's just add them there at the back. You know, put a collider there. Box. Same thing. Alright. Put this in the game object. That is easier. Walls. What was the name? You? Alright. Alright, there you go. Yeah. So yeah, how are you guys doing? If you guys want, again, if you guys want me to recreate any game you want, just comment them down below. I'll play the game. I'll figure out what to do, and I'm going to do it. If you guys want to challenge me, I love challenges. Just comment them down below. I'm not sure if I'm going to mention any limitations, but I think it's common sense-ish that I can't make a game like Resident Evil or Assassin's Creed. Come on, guys. Thousands of people, if not hundreds. I mean, hundreds, if not thousands, of people make those games. But yeah, who knows? Maybe. Just maybe. Alright, rotate that 90 degrees. Duplicate these two. Rotate that another 90 degrees. Okay, that's messed up. Yeah, that's just this one. Rotate that 180 degrees, and you just rotate your negative 90 degrees. There you go. Now we have a box. Oh wait, the colliders. I'll check the colliders for this. Alright, that's fine. Colliders, that's fine. Alright, now we should be able to walk around. I want to make the world smaller, but that's fine. Okay, now for our trees, move them at the back. Duplicate that. Move this to the front. Okay, again, if you guys hate the way I design things, I'm sorry. I'm pretty sure you guys can come up with better ways to do this. Okay, let's go there. Let's see what we can. What's in here? That's a lot of space, and we don't want that. You specifically, not your group. All right, I think that's good. Next, let's move our grass set there. Just duplicate the whole set a couple of times. Yeah, it's okay if you pass the wall. It's fine. Is this a song by Uriel, the YouTuber? Not the guy, the girl from the elf from Lord of the Rings. You know, Uriel, the girlfriend of Gilly. I think it's Gilly. If you guys think I'm wrong, it's Gilly, right? The boyfriend of. Okay, I might be wrong. I can't remember. Yeah, let's add just one set here in front. There. Okay, I don't know what this will look like, but yeah. Alright. Wait, we don't have rigid bodies for the walls. Crap, that's a lot of walls. Yeah, we can just select all. And then let's make this a prefab real quick. So just select all the walls and then add a rigid body, which is frozen anywhere. Walls to prefab. There, so that if we're going to make any changes, we just need to change one and then apply the prefab. Then that will change all of them. Where the hell did it go? Oh wait, I moved the position. What? Why? Come on, dude. Alright, next is negative 90. There you go. Alright, and for you guys, what's the best game mechanic you ever experienced when playing a game? For me, I think it's all survival games. No. Scrap that. Change that. Wait, can I move behind this? Alright, now we can move through forests. Alright, now we don't. Wait, what game mechanic? Not sure. I'm not sure what game mechanic, but pretty much a lot of indie games now have all those crazy mechanics that are so innovative. Ow, my face. Ow. But yeah. Okay, next one. If you noticed earlier, those trees, they're clipped by the camera. We don't want that. Oops, why did I duplicate that? We just want to change the alpha, make them transparent. What was I gonna do? Yeah, environment. Yeah, let's put all of this there to clean our hierarchy. Cleaned. All right, put that there. All right, so how are we going to do that? Multiple ways. Also, you can add Pat, pat. Up here, and they can't tell me nothing. The people spread across the country. Yeah, let's make that a tree. That's weird. Tree, and then you can actually just add tag and then add a tree there. The hell are these? Okay, and then let's add another collider. Make it a trigger. Um, I'm going to explain this in a little bit. Let me just do this. Oops. Mm, yeah. Okay. These trigger colliders are for, in Don't Starve you can actually gather from trees. Yeah. So we want to make the area bigger so that if we cast a ray, it will also detect the trigger behind, not just this thin collider that we have there. All right. So let's select this and apply. Yeah, that will change all of those. Yep. Yeah, I think it also changed. Nope, it's fine. Alright, now let's close that. Then, what were we thinking about? Yeah, there's multiple way. You can actually use those trigger colliders and check if the player is behind the tree, then you're going to change the alpha here. But I'm not going to do that. Well, we're going to do that, but we're going to do it dynamically. I mean, we're going to cast a ray from the camera to the player, and then if that ray is obstructed by anything, we're going to add a component to that object, the obstacle, the obstruction. We're going to add a component to that that will change the alpha of its sprite renderer, and then if it's not obstructing anymore, if in a certain time, if it's not between the camera and the player anymore, then we're going to destroy that component, that script, because we don't need it anymore. You don't need to reduce the opacity or the alpha of something if it's not abstracting anything. So yeah, let's go to our script folder. Let's add that. Change alpha. I don't know. Let's reload the whole solution. Okay, so what we need here is, of course, we need a reference to the sprite renderer. The sprite renderer. Yeah, I can't type. Name the current sprite. And then in our start function, we get the current sprite. I mean, the sprite renderer of this specific game object. So sprite renderer. There you go. And then changing the alpha. Okay. If you want to change the alpha of something, if we go to any sprite renderer, actually, as you can see here in the color, it actually has 4 values. It's RGB. Yeah, it's RGBA, the alpha one here. This is what we want to change. So we already have a reference to the sprite renderer component. We need to go into the color and then to the alpha. So let's just make a color that's reference to the current color. So that's current sprite that color, and then we want to change the alpha of this. Now this is from 0 to 1, so let's make it 8, and then let's pass it back. Color. What song is this? It's awesome. The Resistance by Skillet. Oh, Skillet. Nice. Okay, so that will change the alpha or the opacity of the sprite renderer in between the camera and the player immediately after this component is added. So yeah, then we need to add a timer. So so that when the object is not abstracting, when the object is not anymore in between the camera and the player, we're going to destroy this component. So that is, we need to add a timer. Now in adding a timer, you need to have a float for the max timer, and then that will equate to whatever you want to. Let's, I don't know, 2. And let's have a timer that will start at 0. Okay, then we'll just use it here. Now, as long as the timer is less than the max timer, we're going to do something here. Do something. Else, what you want to do? You just add the current time. Whoa. Time that does the time. There you go. Okay, now what we know so far is that we just destroy it here, right? So we just need to destroy this script, the instance, this script here. So we just destroy that. But what we also want is that if we're not in between the camera and the player, we need to revert it back, right? So let's just copy this. Yeah, let's copy this and then put it back to 1. Now that will revert it. But what's going to happen is, if this will run, it's in the update, so we need to control this update. You know what, let's add let's add a boolean. I feel like I don't know, it's not about how, it's not what I feel, but I'm sure that there's a better way to do this, but let's just add this blocking, which is true the first time you add the component, and then add a check here if it's not blocking anymore, and then we're going to control this in the camera, which is the one who will cast array. So array is from our ray. Ray, R-A-Y, is gonna be from the camera to the player, and the one who's going to cast it will be the camera. So yeah, let's cast that. Now we need to store the value of whatever's hit. So that's array cast hit, array cast hit, and then we also need yeah, let's just, I'm thinking of just adding the ray in the raycast function directly, or make a separate ray, but let's just make a separate ray from camera. All right, so this is in the update. This is in the update. So let's define what the ray from the camera is. Now that will be a new ray, which is from our transform position to the just forward, I guess. Yeah, just forward, because we're 35 degrees, right? We're rotated 35 degrees. We also have a reference to player, so just player. That this is a vector tree position. All right, and then let's cast the ray. So if physics that raycast, and then we're going to have the ray, the name of our ray. What ray do we want? Now there are various parameters here that you can check. Various overloads. That, yeah, there you go. Ray from camera. Then we're going to output the data, the hit of whatever's hit by the ray, to our variable, to our raycast hit named hit. And then the distance will be, I don't know, just arbitrary. Let's make it 3 for now. Just change it later. Now what we're going to check if something's in between, right? Now the way to check that is if what's being hit by the ray is not the player anymore. So the way to do that is we tag the player as player, right? So we need to just compare the tag. If it's not player, okay, so if it's not player, then we need to do something, which is we need to add an obstacle. We need to add the script, the change alpha script. Now the way to do that is we also need to check if, because what this does is change the sprite renderer, right? So we also need to check if what's ever hit by our array has a that game object has a component of has a sprite renderer component. So the way to do that is we need to get the game object. transform that game object, that get component. We need to try and get the sprite renderer component if it exists. All right, and if it's not equal to null, so we're trying to get it. We're trying to get a sprite renderer component from whatever hit, and if it's not equal to null, meaning it exists, there's a component, there's a sprite renderer component, then that's when we're going to add a component. This is just to make things easier. It transform that game object. You know what? Let's put this here. There you go. Oh, I like this song. I was shocked. All right. Then yeah, we're going to add now. So that's add component. Change alpha. Change alpha. All right. Now that should work. Yeah, let's try this out. What I'm worrying actually is this won't work. That's what I'm worrying. The is blocking, the change of the is blocking, I'm worrying that it's not going to work. Yeah, let's test this out. If it's not compiling, there you go. Okay, let's try this out. So let's hide behind the tree. Okay, so the distance is, where did we change that? I think it's here. Okay, student is 5. So it's making it translucent, changing the opacity. Like bloop, didn't. I'm moving slowly to check the distance. You know what? Let's draw the array to see. It's moving from the to the player. Let's change. Whoa, the array. Where's the array? There you go. Let's make it forward so that the camera will cast it wherever it's looking at. The 35 degrees, along the 35 degrees. Rotation, let's see. Okay, now 5 is too much. Let's bring it back to 3. Alright. There you go. Now are you going to revert back to normal? It didn't. Wanna know why? Because it's blocking is not working. Wait, this one. Yeah, it didn't revert back. Okay. So we need to change it here. If we're not. So it's adding it continuously. I think that's what's happening. It's adding this continuously to whatever's in between the camera and the player, but it's also being removed continuously. All right, so I think that's good now. Yeah, well, so it works. Okay, next one. We're good with the masking now. I think we can call it masking. Yeah, so it's working now. Next we have to do is this, add the attack or the gather. So let's go back to the player. Come on. Okay. And then in our update function, let's add something here. Let's add a certain functionality. Mm, let's just make a separate function for that. What are we going to name it? Action. Let's just call it action. Whoa. Okay. Action pressed. Interact. Interact. Okay, let's call it interact. So we need to make a private interact. Alright, now it's gonna be in here is just another raycast. We need to check because what's going to happen is every time we press the action button, the left mouse button, we're going to cast a ray in front of the player and then check whatever is in front of the player, and then based on whatever is in front of the player, we're going to do something. For example, if it's a tree, then that means we're going to gather some wood for the tree from the tree, and then if it's the enemy, then we're going to attack. So it depends on what's in front. So we need to get the data what's in front. And then what we also need is a timer, because the way get mouse button works is that it's going to get the button so fast because it's an update. So if we, for example, if we're gathering wood from trees, then you're just going to see that number go wild. So what we want is just add in intervals. So for example, in Terraria, if you're picking, you have a certain attack speed, right? In picking, like also in Minecraft. Yeah. So we're going to do that. So it's private float. It's also float. Max attack speed, and I think 1.2 is fine, and then need a attack timer, which is equal to 0. All right, and then we're going to check if the attack timer, if it's still less than our max attack speed. Now if it's greater than, our wait, let's clean this. We didn't use these anymore. Oh wait, we didn't use these. But you know what, if it's working that way, we don't need these anymore. If that's the way it works, we don't need that anymore. Whoa, I commented the whole thing. It's format. Okay, now that should still work. Player script. Okay, back to the player. Okay, so if it's greater than the max attack speed anymore, we're going to do something here. Else, just add delta time. Okay. So what's going to happen here is we're going to cast a ray. So if physics that ray cast, and the cast will be coming from our position towards whatever we're facing. We can get that now let's just get the sign. So let's get the sign of our current speed to get where we are, and then multiply that with our vector 3.right. So this means that if current speed is positive, if we're facing right, and then that means it's the correct vector right? It's the right, it's vector 3.right. But if it's negative, if we're facing to the left, then we don't need vector right, we need the opposite direction. So we multiply it with the negative one in order to face left. All right. So yeah. Do we need a distance? Yeah. So let's have a hit distance here. And this is a variable that we're going to set. And then let's also serialize that and fix the spelling of float. And then this is okay. Now what do we have here? We're casting a ray now. we're casting array in front of the player. Now what we need to check if what's being hit. So if we need to compare the tag. If it's a tree, we tagged our trees as tree, right? So if we're facing a tree, and then what we want to do is, why did I add a semicolon there? What we want to do is add some wood. Now if I will be making a proper game with this mechanic, word would count, I'd be inserting all this data into a different class. I'll have a player data class which doesn't inherit anything, it's just a holder of data. But for this purpose, let's just add a wood. And then after all of that checking, we're going to reset our timer in order to make the illusion of attack speed, of having an attack speed, and also we're going to log our wood count just to see if it's working. All right. Am I missing anything? Yeah. All right, let's do this. All right, so we're attacking, but nothing's happening yet. But if we move near a tree and attack, it's still 0. It's not increasing. That means it's not detecting the tree. Are you tagged as tree? Yes, you are. Is my spelling correct? Yes, it is. Interesting. Word count. Did I initialize it to 0? I did, right? Would count 0. I did. Whoa, oops. How about the other trees? We didn't set a hit distance, I think. In sound. Yep, we didn't. That's the problem. Ta ta da dan. Alright, so this should work now. Then 1, 2, 3. Yep, we're adding now. You can see our wood count there in the debug inspector. So yeah, then if you want to add enemies, go and add them. We already, wow, it's almost 2 hours. But yeah, we have the gathering mechanics. This is actually just pretty basic. Then again, if you want to add if you want to have an inventory that's holding wood, rocks, stones, whatever item you want, put them in a separate container, a separate class, and then make that a container of just plain data, so that if you want to save, you just have to serialize that data and then save it in a file if you want, and then yeah, it's easier. And then yeah, that's all I have for now. I believe this is the core mechanic or Don't Starve. But yeah, if you guys want more of this, just comment them down below what you want to add, what you want me to add. And then if you have questions, also comment down below. The rain is getting stronger. I'm sorry if I sound like I'm yelling at you guys, but it's really loud in here, and I hope you guys can hear that. And it's getting louder. Alright, but yeah, I'm gonna end the video here. Thank you guys for watching. Once again, this is Neil Creates, where we recreate some graphics assets that is so loud, gameplay mechanics, and other components or elements that make up games. Alright, I'll see you guys in the next one. Once again, if you guys have any questions, recommendations, suggestions, clarifications, or you want me to add some more mechanic in here, if you want me to add the Cerberus, from Don't Starve, or if you want to add multiplayer mechanic, then comment them down below and I'll do that in the next video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.